Coming up on District Wire News, we're less than a year away from the 2012 presidential elections. Find out where the race stands for the Republican nomination and why Republicans don't seem to be getting behind frontrunner Mitt Romney.
And some student groups are fighting back against Facebook groups they say encourage violence against women. We have a full report. District Wire News starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Tiana Hakimzadeh.
And I'm Jade Ryan. Less than 1 year from today, President Obama will go up against the Republican nominee in the presidential election. In that time, we'll see caucuses and primaries, campaign ads, and plenty of baby kissing. Emily Roseman spoke with professors and students at American University to see how they're preparing for what's to come.
The 2012 presidential election is quickly looming upon us as candidates from both sides are preparing for a battle. What is shaping up to be a very competitive race, the presidential election is now 1 year out. With media pressure on the GOP candidates focusing on the upcoming primaries, students and faculty alike can sense what will potentially be a very close race to the finish. Professor Chris Simpson of the School of Communication finds that media plays a very vital role in any election process.
The campaign so far has been your basic horse race coverage, largely based on non-issues, frankly. Attempts to either scare or lure voters into one camp or another. I think even the GOP itself is disappointed with the poor quality of the candidates thus far.
But with recent campaign gaffes on the GOP side, some faculty members are looking towards specific candidates as key players in this year's election, like Professor Lucy Getman in the School of Public Affairs.
A lot could happen in the next year, but it will be a blockbuster year in that there are more women running for the U.S. Senate than ever before in history, and yet we don't have a very viable candidate for president, and it's absolutely unconscionable that the United States, as one of the most highly developed nations in the world, has yet to elect a woman president.
As always, the youth vote comes down as a major player in elections. It was a crucial area for President Obama's campaign and perhaps could be a good source of votes for the GOP candidate. AU College Republican Amy Farina thinks so.
They've been doing a lot. They've been doing a lot of campaign trips. They went to Virginia this weekend. Yeah, I think they're going to be doing a lot to educate young conservatives and maybe people in the middle as well.
The race is surely heating up, and with 1 year out, it is anyone's game. Reporting from Washington, D.C., this is Emily Roseman for District Wire News.
A fourth woman accusing GOP candidate Herman Cain of sexual harassment is scheduled to break her silence today. She'll go public with celebrity lawyer Gloria Allred this afternoon. Cain has been accused of sexually harassing 4 women during his time at the National Restaurant Association. But Cain said he was no longer interested in speaking about the alleged harassment and said his campaign was getting back on message.
A new WTOP poll says that residents in the D.C. metro area have more faith in the economy than the nation's leaders. 26% of locals believe the country is headed in the right direction, compared to only 21% nationally. 7% trust elected officials compared to 6% nationally. Out of D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, D.C. has the highest numbers for political and economic confidence.
As European politicians debate a Greek bailout, Greece is getting ready for a new government. Prime Minister George Papandreou has said he'll resign as soon as a replacement is picked. CNN's Diana Magne has more on the story.
In Athens, as the leaders of the 2 main parties fought tooth and nail over the formation of a new government. Finally, they came together in a late-night meeting with the president. Reporters waited outside. After 1.5 hours, a written statement delivered through the bars of the palace gate, a holding statement that a new government would be formed to tide the country through till elections. Crucially, a government committed to implementing the terms of the 26th October bailout agreement, with a new Prime Minister at the helm. George Papandreou returning to the Prime Minister's residence, possibly for the last time. Mr. Papandreou and the leader of the opposition, Antonis Samaras, will meet again on Monday to try and hammer out who exactly will be in this new government and to name a new Prime Minister. There's still plenty of flesh to put on the bones of this deal. But at least it sends a signal to the market and to Greece's European partners that politicians here are willing to put their differences behind them and try to put their country back on track. Diana Magne, CNN, Athens.
The Arab League is calling for an emergency meeting after Syrian officials opened fire on protesters yesterday. 22 people were killed in the incident. Clashes between protesters and the Syrian government have been going on for the last 8 months. In that time, about 4,000 people have died.
The UN's nuclear watchdog agency is due out with a new report on Iran this week, and sources say the country's nuclear program is ready to build weapons. U.S. intelligence agencies had said Iran had halted their nuclear program in 2003 in response to international pressure. The report also noted that foreign scientists from North Korea and Pakistan had helped Iran develop their program.
19-year-old Frostburg University student Courtney McCoy was stabbed and killed at an off-campus party at about 1:30 on Sunday morning. Another student, Shanae Liggins, is charged with first and second-degree murder and is now in police custody. Police say the girls were fighting earlier that night. Liggins denies the charges.
A new poll says there are more Americans that dislike the Occupy movement than those that like them. The study out of the University of Massachusetts found 40% of voters aren't sold on the movement, but it isn't because of their message. 74% of those polled say Americans without money don't have enough influence on the government. The study also says half the country dislikes the Tea Party.
Occupy DC has problems of their own. 3 people were hit by a car Friday night in what some say was an intentional crash. Protesters had shut down streets around DC's convention center where a conservative group was meeting. Protesters say the driver threw up his hands and accelerated into a crowd. DC police say the collision was unavoidable and the driver wasn't cited or arrested.
Online bullying is a big problem nationwide and can have serious consequences. Some states are even passing laws to try to stop it. But will the new restrictions help? Joining us with more is Faith Sagai. Faith?
Thanks, Tiana. A recent ruling in Michigan is causing huge debate after anti-bullying legislations for schools were created. Now DC is looking to its own laws to protect students against bullying. Here's more on the story. An anti-bullying legislation passed in Michigan is causing controversy after saying it would allow statements held in belief and moral conviction to be said in public schools. This means bullying could be allowed based on religious grounds. Lynn Berghoff, president and executive director of Citygate, says it's up to programs to teach students about bullying.
We think that if we can create an environment and a pattern of participation and communication that is constructive and where if there are disagreements they are understood and dealt with in a positive way, that's the most direct contribution that we can make to that larger issue of bullying.
47 of the U.S. states have anti-bullying laws, but Michigan, Montana, and D.C. do not have anti-bullying legislation. At Woodrow Wilson High School, Dean Hernandez says the staff have created strong methods in cracking down against bullying.
Well, our first line of defense is our Dean of Students here. Then we have our security, and then we have a pilot program, which is based to help us with dealing with bullying and discipline in itself. And we have some other things put in place. But most of all, the Dean of Students handle bullying. As soon as we're aware of it, we pull the students and just talk to them and see what they think about it, because some people consider bullying certain things, but it may just be misconstrued. But for the most part, we take every case serious when dealing with bullying.
Students say while staff are stepping up and administration are recognizing bullying more, it has become increasingly hard for schools to regulate cyberbullying. Now, the D.C. Council is seeking to ban intimidation from public places, but the Coalition Against Censorship says it currently restricts against free speech. Tiana?
Thanks, Faith.
Starting yesterday, Facebook is shutting down certain groups that some find offensive. The crackdown comes in response to a petition saying the groups promote violence against women. Rachel Demita spoke to a member of Women's Initiative to find out more.
Facebook is an outlet that people around the world use to express themselves through photos, posts, social groups, and pages. But now many users think that some pages are taking their speech too far. Change.org started a petition to Facebook's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, to take down the offensive pages that seem to promote violence towards women. Pages with titles like, You know she is playing hard to get when you're chasing her down an alleyway.
Facebook and Twitter and other social media can be good things, but they can also, send out messages that are really bad and really hurtful for some people to see.
The movement quickly moved to a Twitter campaign, #NotFunnyFacebook.
Change.org gathered 186,000 signatures to get pro-rape and pro-violence pages removed from Facebook. After 2 months of petitioning, ZDNet.com is reporting today that these pages will be removed.
American University supports free speech, but hate speech is not tolerated. Student organizations on campus, like the Women's Initiative, have a strong stance on women's rights. They use social networking as a tool to empower women.
But I feel like the more positive lights and positive instances that we have to see women and, ending sexual abuse, then I feel like the faster this process will take effect. So I feel like, posting positive websites and links and pictures is definitely a good way to go.
From Washington, I'm Rachel Demita for District Wire News.
Coming up after the break, a string of thefts in Anderson Hall. We'll hear from a resident assistant who was on the scene the night of the crimes. A live report straight ahead.
And a new study says college students are using bad sources like Wikipedia for their research, but professors at AU disagree about what that means for students.